Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Sugar Ray in the building. I am in the building, and tonight will be absolutely classic. Welcome to Team No Excuses Ray Lewis Show. If this is your first time, I always tell you, buckle up. And if you come back weekly, we appreciate you. But today's guest, I mean, he's such a young lion, a brother of mine, and the first time we met, I was like, are we two of the same people? Like, do we think alike? And from that day, I started to watch his career and started to watch this young man create an identity. And I got my own dance, just to give you guys a clue. I got my own dance, but this guy got a dance too. And I'm gonna get to finding out what that dance means. Without further ado, I want to welcome on my younger brother, a lion, Shawne Lights Out Merriman. What's up, Daddy?
What's up, baby?
Hey, Daddy. Daddy, I may want to get a little crazy with you tonight. Can I get a little crazy tonight?
Let's get crazy, Dad. Let's get crazy. Come on now.
Let's get low, Daddy. Bro, look, I got it. First of all, I love you. I miss you. You treat me like a stepchild. You don't call me and you don't text me back and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna let it go.
I miss one thing of yours in over a decade. One time, the one thing I went to, and that's because I was working, and you still ain't let it down. You still ain't let me go from that.
So you do know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's why
I'm gonna try to skip on right by it because I know you're gonna bring it back up.
You made up for it. A few days ago on my birthday when you FaceTimed me on my birthday. So I appreciate that. Love for life. Bro, look, I got to jump into this, right? Everybody knows Shawne Merriman. Everybody knows Lights Out. Who was Shawne Merriman at Maryland when you and my little brother was kind of dipping in and out of Maryland? Who was Shawne Merriman then?
You know what, man? Then, you know, I was young. I had a real, tough upbringing in PG County, Maryland. I grew up in PG County, Maryland, and the Washington, D.C. area. So I grew up, about 25 minutes from the campus, from the University of Maryland. And through high school, went to Frederick Douglass High School in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I committed to Maryland as a junior. But I was still myself, man, just trying to find my way out of that mentality, because I was there, right? And my dad wasn't around, and my coaches, high school coaches, really took me under their wing, took care of me. I'll tell you a story how I even moved in with my high school coaches. We had lost our house. Our house had burned down when I was in high school because we couldn't afford to pay the electricity and the bills. So they cut our lights and gas off. My mother had lit a candle for the lights. We couldn't see anything, and put it on top of the TV in my room, and it burned. It burned the whole house down. So I ended up going to. Luckily, I was fortunate. My coaches, saw something in me then as, sophomore year in high school, and they took me in. And it's no telling, man, what I would be without that because, we were living in cars. Me and my sister were living in the back of cars. We lived in Motel 8s. It was next to Andrews Air Force Base, shelters. And, my coaches really took me in, man. It was an opportunity for me to be normal where I didn't have to worry about food. I didn't have to worry about coming home and there was going to be eviction notice on the door. I didn't have to worry about none of these things, and I can go out and be a kid. That was my first time probably in my life being a kid when I wasn't working and cutting grass, shoveling snow, washing cars, and paying bills at 12 years old. So I think, Ray, by the time I got to college, man, I had that. I was grown mentally already in certain aspects because I was forced to. I was forced to grow up. I had no choice. But you still got to grow up in other areas and parts, man. So that kind of molded me, getting there on college on a big campus like University of Maryland for the first time and seeing something like that.
Yeah. Listen, so you said something that was key, right? The way you grew up and some things that you had to endure. What mindset? What helped you get through that?
It was football, man. Honestly, And, I got an 11-year-old son, and people ask me all the time, and I don't know if, people will ask you about your kids and whether you're going to let them play football and all this other stuff. But for me, football gave me something greater, right? Football gave me a purpose. And it was back then, you look at all this mental health stuff, meditation. Back then it was meditation because it was my couple hours away from everything else that I was dealing with. Yeah. The hurt, the pain, not having food. I remember my coaches coming up to me one time, my freshman year at Frederick Douglass, and they say, you look like you're losing weight. And I was embarrassed to tell them that we didn't have any food.
Wow.
And so, but because I was just happy being there and being away from my circumstance for just those couple of hours. So, without football, man, football really gave me an anchor, something I can step away from it. I knew that I had to come home to it, had to come home to no light sometime, had to come home to the eviction notices of sheriffs showing up with a 30-day thing or whatever it was, or telling us to get out, and we had to pay right there on the spot to stay in. But those couple of hours that I was on the football field, I could, all the pain, everything that I was dealing with, I can let it go, and it was legal. I think that was for me. I was like, man, hold on, you hurting, you're in a, I wouldn't call it a bad mental state, but it was a sign of relief that I can go and hit that man across from me and nothing can happen to me. And for me, that's what got me to playing football. It was the only thing I can release legally, and nobody can do anything to me about it. And so that's why I love football.
This is what made, I think from day one when we connected, this is what made us click, right? Because we both had that instinct, right? That when you got on the field, all the problems, not having dad, mom struggling, just problems, man, just problems. But you found your sanctuary. You found that place to release it, right? You get to that point, Shawne, because I want to know personally, when did Lights Out become born? That's what I want to get the lights out, Daddy. I want to get to the big business.
Come on now.
I want to talk about when it all changed.
Come on now. We my sophomore year, we were playing this school, and I knocked out 4 kids in one game. Right.
Hold on, time out. Don't go further. I don't want you to go so fast. We don't have to rush. So you knocked out 4 kids in one game.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them went out, collarbone. Some of them, actually was out and they had to wake them up. Some of them went out stingers and didn't come back, so, and then the other one actually was asleep. He took a little nap.
And their parents was there. And their parents was there. They almost just try to stand at the fence. You're wrong, Sean.
Look, where they sell the hot dogs at, when you walking into where they sell the little hot dogs before you. I had 2 parents down there trying to block me from getting on the field because they said that my coaches was holding me back 3 years. Right. So they said, "Oh, he not playing with my son." Right.
Oh, they thought you was older. They
thought I was older, not knowing that I was the youngest one on the field. Yeah, I was the youngest one there. And not
birth certificate trick.
Yeah, exactly. And so I knocked out these 4 kids in the game, these 4 players. And right after the game, I had about 20 students come running up and they said, "Man, you knocked those guys lights out." And I said, yeah, call me Lights Out.
Really?
And it stuck. It stuck. Okay. It stayed with me.
Okay. So walk me through this. So after it sticks with you, when did you brand your dance? I gotta know when the dance.
So let me tell you.
I done tried it.
So let me tell you. My high school coaches, Coach Bill Johnson and J.C. Pinkney, they called me but we didn't have any money. We didn't have nothing or whatever. This is in 2000. This is in year 2000. And my sophomore year, I think, they said, we want you to go. We want to take you to go watch a linebacker play. They didn't say nothing else. So I said, okay, well, to show me it. I'm going. You whatever you guys say, I'm going, right. So they bought 4 tickets to a Ravens game in 2000.
No way.
Yep, they bought 4 tickets to a Ravens game. Coach Bill did. And when nobody had any money, they took me to this game, and we was about 4 seats up from the light bulbs. I mean, hey, Ray, I could have reached up there and just switched the light bulbs out for it in the stadium real quick, right? And so I'm sitting in there. This is my first pro game, and they came there. They brought me there to see you. And so my head coach, Coach Bill Johnson, said, "If you want to see a linebacker the way to play the game, I'm going to show you." And they took me to the game. We sat way up top, and they were doing the intros, right? And I said, okay, you know, and I used to make fun of people at like Michael Jackson concerts and all that stuff because I'd never been around any type of energy like that. So they're doing the announcements. Everybody come up to smoke, to boom, to this, to all the, you know, ball way, all y'all were stacked. Big Goose, everybody coming out, you know, Sam, everybody coming, y'all stacked up, right?
Yeah.
And then you bring you out last. And this
is, oh boy, here we go, Daddy.
I'm about to get low now. I'm about to get low. So I'm sitting there, right? And they paused. They got about a 5 to 10 second pause.
I needed that pause.
Hey man, listen, that pause, that was the first time I experienced being around a crowd in my life because I've never been to a concert, never been around a large group of people now because we couldn't afford to do nothing growing up. So that was my first time. I used to watch, man, them old documentaries on E or whatever it was, and I used to see these people passing out, going crazy over Michael Jackson, right? Because I said, man, this is Michael Jackson. He's a person. I get it, he's Michael Jackson, but that's a person. Yeah. And these people faint and all this other stuff. So that pause right there, my hair stood straight up on my arm. I had chills all up. I'll never forget the day. I had chills all up and on my arm, and all I heard is, "It's getting hot." I'm pushing Ray. I'm pushing my coaches. I think I'm about, you know, I'm going to roll down. I'm honestly feeling I'm about to roll and jump down on all 6 people in front of me, right? So my coach grabbed me by the, get off me. I get him off me, right? So I'm going crazy because I never seen nothing like this ever, and I never seen people react in person. The first thing I start thinking about is how I used to laugh at those people watching those old True Hollywood this or whatever, and you see these people passing out Michael Jackson. I'm like, but I felt lightheaded enough because I was screaming, and I thought for sure that I was going to pass out. Ray, I'm talking, and so this is what happened. This is how the lights out dancing. And my high school coaches will tell you the exact same thing. And you came out, that pause, you hit it, getting it. And then when everything settled down and people still going crazy, I looked at my coaches. I said, one day I'm going to make people go like that and do that for me. Wow. I told them my sophomore year in high school, I said, one day I want to have whatever those people were feeling, whatever I just felt just now, I want one day for people to feel that way for me. And that's how the Lights Out dance came out. 2 weeks later, I went and got a Lights Out switch on my right forearm. I convinced my mother to let me get a tattoo. I begged her. I said, Ma, everybody's calling me Lights Out now. It's a thing at school. People called me Lights around the principal. Everybody called me Lights, right? I said, I gotta do this. So I finally convinced her after 2 weeks. She took to give me, it cost $58 to get this tattoo that's still there. And then, so every time I do this, I'm pretending to flick that light switch.
Out.
So it's out. So that's how the whole Lights Out thing came about. True story, everything top to bottom.
You know what? As much as we've hung out, you never told me that full story.
Oh, you know I got to bring the heat today, Daddy. Come on, Daddy. Come on, bring the heat today, Daddy. Come on, come on.
Bro, who was the? Okay, maybe I know this answer, maybe I don't. But who was the guy? Who was the guy? We all had somebody who inspired us to be or want to be. Who was that guy? Like who you had to watch? Who, when you was coming up, your young lion, things you had been through your mentality. Now you have this Lights Out personality. What was the goal? Did you want to stand alone? What was it? You know what I'm asking.
So I think, man, to be honest, so you see a bunch of guys, whatever, in yourself, and we all got, different personalities. We all do certain things really well. So when I first seen you do that was like, okay, I know how to make people feel something, right? That was the first time, and I played middle linebacker. I never rushed a passer. I never even had a sack my whole high school career. I didn't even know how to rush the passer until I got to college. So I played, middle and outside linebacker. So I'm watching you the whole time. And then fast forward, I get to Maryland, and Keon. You know, Keon gets he goes there.
My little brother.
Yeah, little bro.
Yeah,
and that's where everything kind of happened, man. But I watched, you know, Lawrence Taylor coming up when I started to really get into the art of pass rushing. And when I watched Lawrence Taylor, I didn't watch him pass rushing. I just watched the clips. I'm a crazy dog. I'm a this, and you know, barking at people and going crazy. The mentality. So I watched that first because I wasn't a pass rusher. I didn't know anything else, but I like how people feared him. How he put fear into people's hearts right during the game. So I took that part, but I didn't watch him as a pass rusher until until my freshman year at the University of Maryland.
See, and this is what's interesting, right? Because and a lot of people know this, but I was inspired by Ronnie Lott because I played safety in high school, right? And interesting to your story, I played linebacker, 9 games, I think 10 games, you know, like the end of the season. But that's when I started to actually watch the art, right, of the middle linebackers, the Mike Singletaries, who I just had on the show last week. But that's why because a lot of people know our stories, right? But it's interesting, bro, because with yours, like I've asked a lot of people this. Do you know where the Lights Out came from? Like, no, I don't know where that, but I love it. I love that dance, right? And I always ask people, can you do it? And so people would always practice this. But you took that mentality, right, that you had on the field, and now you carried that mentality off the field. What's going on in the Lights Out world now that's new that people need to know about?
So when I finally got my first piece of money, when I got into the NFL, the first thing I started to think about, I said, I'm known as Lights Out. People know me as Lights Out. Mm-hmm. So I went in 2006 I acquired the name and trademarks from another company in Irvine, California. It was a company called PJ Salvage, and they were a really big pajama company, and they had 10 other companies under. So I went and bought the name rights, trademarks, and all that stuff for clothes, for workout products. I trademarked it all because I knew that Lights Out, for me personally, was bigger than I can ever be on the field. And I think that for us all, for athletes, we're so concerned about what we're doing right now. We don't ever brand ourselves early on because we're taught, you know, team. It's about the team us, but we also have our own individual brands, which I recognized that early on. So I went to go and buy the name rights, trademarks, and I started to sell clothes. I had no idea what I was doing, and I came out the gate. I started making like little Lights Out T-shirts and selling them to mom and pop shop. This was all when I was playing. Wow. And then fast forward, I started selling the Tilly's and DTLR back on the East Coast, downtown locker room, Shoe City. I started selling at all these retailers because I got into the clothing industry heavy. But what happened, Ray, during the process of working out and stuff like that when I was playing, I also picked up MMA. Mm-hmm. So Jay Glazer and a lot of Randy Couture, all these guys, they told me that, look, you need to get better with your hands, being able to open your hips and go around those big tackles. And I said, you're right, because mind you, only pass rush in my life 3 years. I just learned it 2 years before I got to the league. I didn't know, so I had to get better with my hands. So I walk in there, I start picking up, I start rolling on the ground, pummeling, hitting mitts, and doing that. And I fell in love with the sport. And so, I was doing this for 10 years. During every offseason, I would take a month and I would go spar. I would go, learn how to get better on the ground, jiu-jitsu, some Muay Thai, boxing. I would have exhibition matches sometimes, boxing, some pro boxers.
Yeah.
Picking up the combat sports, which landed me now with Lights Out Extreme Fighting, my MMA league. And right now, we're currently on Fox Sports, West Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego, and 8 other regions in the country: Texas, Florida, Ohio, and some regions in the Northeast. So I always knew, Ray, to be honest, that Lights Out, our time on the field is short compared to our whole entire life. Yep. And I was so far ahead that I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do something with Lights Out and building a brand. And that's how Lights Out Extreme Fighting came about.
Wow, brother. See, that's what you make me try to get a little emotional now, because I look at you as a little bro, so I got to be careful here. I got to be really careful to get emotional. Because I remember when you first called me. But what was funny is you just gave me a little different version of a story. Because when you called me, you said, "Daddy, I'm about to go in the ring. I'm about to fight." And I said, Shawne, you really finna go in the ring and actually fight? So was that a real thing? Are you ever gonna fight, or is this just something you want to own?
Well, so initially what happened was I had a fight lined up. I had an MMA fight that I was going to do about in 2016 to 17. I ended up going to working with the WWE, right? So the money wasn't right with me fighting. So I actually ended up going to go host over at WWE Network. And I also did some pay-per-views with them. So I was hosting, I did the WrestleMania. Yep. I actually was in one of the pay-per-views myself, and then I was doing the Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns. I was hosting for them. And so the whole thing was, okay, if the fighting wasn't going to pay, because for us to do something like that, it has to be worth it, right? And the fighting part for us, man, we can roll out of bed. That's not the problem. The problem is training and taking away from everything else you got going on. So that's what I was looking to be paid for. I wasn't looking to be paid to fight. We go do that. That's on a Thursday, Friday. You just call me and we can go do it. I had no problem with the fight, but you have to make it worth it for me to step away from the clothing line. You have to make it worth it for me to step away from TV a little bit, because when you're training for those couple months, you get dinged up, black eye, your nose, a little cut, you might get stuff. So you're not working on TV as much at that time either, right? Yeah. So you're basically paying me to step away from everything else. Gotcha. The money wasn't right in fighting, and I ended up going to work with WWE. WWE kind of hit like a little roadblock or something like that, because they just launched a network and they had a bunch of stuff going on over there. Yeah. But I always say this, man, God worked in ways that you don't even, because I was sitting around like, God, man, I can't, the money not right. We're fighting. WWE is not really, really jumping on it like they should, or offer me the right deal. They wanted me to come in and do certain things, or not really offer me the right situation. And I'm glad I didn't do neither. And the reason why is because I didn't fight for somebody else's league. That's why I'm glad that I never did it, even though as bad as I want to. And I still spar twice a week. I still am around these fighters 4 or 5 days a week. I'm glad I didn't. And you can't figure out why at the time it's not working, right? Why I ain't get that? Come on, man. And then I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been promoting somebody else's league. And so now, if I do fight, if I do have somebody, somebody like Shaq, or one of these guys, I would do it tomorrow. I would sign a contract tomorrow if I had a Shaq or somebody like that who would step up to the plate and want to go and fight.
When you say Shaq, you mean Shaquille O'Neal? As in
Shaquille O'Neal, yeah.
You and Shaquille O'Neal, bare knuckles?
No, but MMA.
Oh, MMA.
MMA, yeah. I would fight Shaq in lights out extreme fighting in 2 seconds. Now I don't know if he would ever do it, and there's a lot of clout chasing stuff going on, right? Like people calling each other out. I could be on social media lighting Shaq up all day, though, but I did reach out to his team, and I have my folks and our mutual friend. I said, hey, let Shaq know that this is what I want to do. And, so if it's him or anybody else, I'm 100% in. That part doesn't concern me. Somebody else got to deal with me, not me, the other way.
Hey, man, this little lights out mentality, boy, you done brought this thing off the field. This is interesting, right? Because I heard you say something, and it seems like you're going full speed with everything you got going. It seems like you had to make some hard decisions to walk away from some opportunities that you had and things like that. But I want to know, like how detrimental can taking shortcuts be in your journey?
You can't. The reason why you can't take shortcuts, because you'll get there, but you won't stay there. And so,
wow, that's so good.
You'll get there. You can always get there by shortcutting it, but you won't stay there. So if you don't build a foundation and all the proper steps in getting there, you're going to fail, right? Because you got there too fast, right? So a lot of guys, it's like winning the lotto or doing whatever and not earning it, right? So it's a different mentality now. So if you go out and you win $20, $30, $40 million, or you get 20, 30, $40 million over a course of 10 to 15 years, you treat it differently. So you can shortcut it all day. You're going to get there. I'm not going to lie. There's ways to get there, but you're not going to stay there by shortcutting it. That's the difference.
That's brother. Boy, we got to listen. This is crazy now because I just asked you a question, but that's kind of what I'm talking about because I do this series every week after you get off called Championship Mentality, right? And if I was to ask you in one sentence, because of what you just said about shortcuts was so profound, but if I was to ask you to put this one thought into one sentence, one paragraph, what does championship mentality mean to you?
Championship mentality to me is going to the end and not knowing that the end is there, right? A lot of people want to say, okay, I work this hard, I work this hard, and they're looking for a goal. They're not enjoying the process. They're enjoying what the end of that is. And champions will just work all the time and not knowing where you're going to end up at because you just work, you enjoying the process. So that's it. A champion is just going to work. They're going to put in the time and going to let the chips fall where they may. Somebody who's not a champion is just working towards one thing. And if they don't get that, they're a failure. Well, we enjoying the process. Winners and these champions, we're enjoying the process, and whatever falls through and with that process, that's what makes you a champion because you enjoy what you're doing to get there.
Gee whiz. So you have that. This is so good. Boy, I'm telling you, my goodness. So listen, so you have that mentality. Go backwards for a minute. And if the game was now, what didn't you do when you was playing that you would do now that you know the mentality you're talking about?
I would take everything slower, right? Because when you're playing, you got your publicists, you got the business people, you got your accountants, and that, and you pulled in so many different directions, and everything is going so fast. And my younger self, I would say, everybody, man, sit down, wait, everybody, leave me alone, let me do this, right? So if there was this over here, there was that, and I was trying to, go what everybody wanted me to do, and then pull in different directions and tell everybody, like, let me do this. And I didn't, especially when I was younger, I didn't take enough control to push everybody away and to have things set up the way I wanted to. So if there was, hey man, can we just get you in this radio show for 15 minutes? Okay, after this, can you show up here? And so you would just yes. And before you know it, it's going so fast, you lose focus of what you really there for. And
did you leave something on the field that you felt you could do over, or you're satisfied with the way you left it?
No, I played the game the way it should have been played, and that part of it, I'm satisfied. I got nothing against, if I was going to jump for everything, I was going to dive for that. I'm putting my head, my chest, arms, legs, everything into your body, right? At any point, I'm doing that and landing on the line. What I wish I would have done, maybe to prolong my career, that's what is that the times that I knew I should have sat down and rested or took care of my body at the time and waited a couple extra weeks, right? Don't try to jump on the field and you got a Liz Frank, right? Or you got a rolled ankle, because we all understand and know, and I didn't get it at the time because you just wanted to be a warrior, that, okay, you rolled your ankle, you did this, whatever, you only at 60%.
Yeah.
So yes, they're going to pat you in the back and then tell you, hey man, that was a great play, or you played all right, whatever, but you're only 60%. So you get judged off of the 60% that you played. Yeah. So if I can go back, I would have really taken my time, in any kind of injuries that I got hurt that should have sidelined me a lot longer than what it had been. Take my time and getting 100% so I can put 100% on the field, and not come back too early and having to sit out 2 or 3 more weeks later because what I had never really fully healed.
Keep going with that. And so you're going through this process of just knowing what you should have did, right? Who was that one person, maybe persons, that you wanted to face, or maybe didn't face while you were playing?
I had such a rivalry with Tom. just like when we played them, and I didn't, it's funny. I never beat them. I never beat the Patriots until I got to Buffalo. But the teams that we had in San Diego, it still haunt me to this day that we didn't get one ring, and they kept putting us out the playoffs, And I was fortunate enough too, because I seen some dogs early on in the league. So I got a different, Orlando Pace, Willie Roaf, up in Seattle with Big Walt Jones. And even though that, Ogden, right, another one. Even though I got some of these guys later on in their, career, I got a chance to see those years of those eras of guys, because they didn't make them like that. After that, there was never that again in an NFL. You got some guys that pop up with Joe Thomas and some of these guys around the years that I came in, but for the most part, that wasn't there. So I was always fortunate, man, to get a chance to see those guys.
Wow. What do you think a kid that watched Shawne Merriman play? Give me 3 things that they took away from watching Shawne Merriman play.
Just for one, I was relentless, man. I'm going to get to the ball, and I'm going to trail, and I'm going to track it down. If it's 20, 30 yards down the field, I'm going to get to you at some point in time. I'm going to get to you. Yeah. And, just the energy that I played with all the time, and an influence, because the power to influence everybody else around you to make them believe that they can go out and do certain things. People, see, the thing is, people feed off your energy. And feed off what you do, and they may not have a confidence about them. But it's something you did to make them want to do something else. And so, to me, that I don't know if you want to call that a God-given thing. I don't know if you want to call that something that I was just always with. But I noticed, man, like when I started coming at doing lights out dance, and Sean Phillips had his bowling thing after that, and then Luis Castillo was doing like his salsa dance. So now I'm looking around, I'm like, man, look at this, what I created, right? I'm looking around like everybody got their own thing now, and everybody got trying to say everybody playing well, man. So those 3 things, man, I would say that I played the game the way it should have been played.
Absolutely. Give me the best pass rusher in the National Football League right now.
Right now?
Yeah, that you.
I mean, look, I'm always a big fan of Khalil Mack, man. I love to watch Khalil Mack play.
Very similar in size and attitude. Yep.
So when I played for the Chargers, my linebacker coach, John Pagano, he was coaching me, and then he went up there to Oakland, and Khalil Mack was there. He called me one day. I missed the first 2 calls. And so the third one, I just got out of the shower. I was finished working out, and I called him. I said, "Hey, yo, coach, everything's good?" He said, "Lights, I got to tell you this, man. This Khalil Mack, this closest thing I've seen to you as I've been around the league. He's been a coach 15 years in the league."
Yeah.
He said, "This Khalil Mack ain't this special." I said, "What do you mean special?" He said, "This dude got it. He's you and this and that." And I said, "Man, okay." So I started watching him since his rookie year, and he's relentless. He come under you, around you. He'll drop out in the flats. He'll come downhill, reckless abandon. I'm like, this dude. He when you look at him play, it looked like everybody else stopped or they're in slow motion, and his is in fast forward. That was my thing. And when somebody watched the film, they're gonna say, okay, these are football players, but him right there. That's not football. That's a damn machine out there. That's right. He running through your fullback, wrong shoulder, and turn around and clog up the hole, and then dive on the pile to make sure the play done. So who's that? Who's him? Right. So you got 10 guys. You got other guys out there that is playing, but who is that one that just tried to blast the fullback, stuff the hole, and then jump over the whole pile to make sure they finish the play? Who's him? And so without people knowing that was me or seeing my number, I just wanted them to say there's somebody on the field that's different than everybody else.
Yeah. I met him the night he was drafted, the night he was heading to the draft, whatever. And I was doing the draft, and he walked up, and they was like, man, he really wants to meet you. He kind of got 52 because whatever, right? And I'm like, wow, man. And knowing he's coming from a small school and everything, right? And this is when Clowney was getting all the love and hype and stuff, whatever. And bro, real talk. I touched his abs. I say, oh, that's a grown man right there.
Because I know what you did. You kind of dapped them up, and as you leaving them, you gave them a pat on the ass.
That's what I did. Let me get that tap.
Yeah.
I said, let me get that tap in. I felt that man. I said, ooh, I should have had to get back right. Lights out. I say, boy, look here. That young boy, that rough. Boy, he gonna be rough. He gonna be rough in the league. So give me in the league right now who you believe, from what you've seen, the best defense in football right now. Who's the best defense in football?
Oh, man, it's...
What defense? I asked the question different. I asked the question different. What defense, when you see step on the field, know that they're going to act the way we once act? Know that they're going to, like, that's the highlight. The highlight is seeing that defense play. What defense is that? I got a defense that I'm going to say, but I want to hear what you say.
You know what? I want to say the Bucks a little bit too. I want to say.
Don't go no further. Don't go no further.
I want to say Tampa Bay, and the reason why I'm saying is because if you start looking at their front four and Sue and all, if you start looking at their front four, but then you start going back to these other boys, that front seven, they rugged. They rugged. You never see a one-on-one tackle. Never see a one-on-one. You see 3, 4, 5 of them on every single play. They hunting the whole time. JPP up there. He's, JPP is, he's getting after everybody. So any level of that defense, they got somebody back.
Barrett on the opposite side. White.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. Bro, let me tell you something. That defense, and it's interesting, right? Because in this era, you come back and you can kind of make a decision to come back, right? And all of those guys came back, right? And I was asked the question today, who do I really believe is going to probably win the championship or whatever. And I'm like, look, you guys praise these offenses every year, right? Oh, offense this, offense that. But this is me being biased and whatever you want to call it. In that Super Bowl, the reigning MVP, Patrick Mahomes, comes in that Super Bowl and does not score an offensive touchdown. The MVP is supposed to be handed to somebody on that defense.
100%.
Bro, let me tell you, somebody on that defense was supposed to walk away with that trophy, the way the boys hunting. Because I was asked that question, and Shawne, as I was talking about it, I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, the Rams, they really, like Aaron Donald, he changes the game, right? Jalen Ramsey out there, like they got a nice mix in what they do. But when you talk about pure dominance, the Bucks can dominate any offense in the game right now, and they proved it because the most high-powered offense that we've seen is the Kansas City Chiefs in a long time. But I give credit, and this is what I want to talk to you about, who is one of the best coaches that not only did you play for, but gave you some of the best advice? Because I truly believe this. I truly believe Todd Bowles could have took that defense on any parking lot against any offense, and he would have done the same thing to him. That's who I think the genius was in that whole win in Tampa, was Todd Bowles. But who was that one coach for you, or maybe two coaches for you, that gave you that nugget?
It was Wade Phillips, man. Wade Phillips. And, so especially when you get around great coaches or coaches that's won a whole lot, they want things a certain way, right? I want, okay, this is the way I do it. I don't care what you're good at or bad at or whatever. This is the way I do it. I want you to do it. But if you notice, the great coaches really fix things the way that you're going to win, right? That it's going to be the best situation for y'all to succeed. And Wade Phillips told me, early on, right? And I remember I got into camp late. We had a injury contract dispute or whatever, and I got to camp a little bit late. So when I got there, the playbook was this big. I ain't never seen the playbook that big. I'm sitting around like I can't catch up on it. It's too much. Right. So they were lining me up. I was lining up on the wrong side and all this. I was looking bad the first couple of days in camp because I wasn't used to it, right? So they brought me in the back. Wade Phillips, Greg Manunsky, John Pagano, Marty Schottenheimer, and they sat me in the room. And they said, one thing we know you can do is make plays. So this is what we're going to do. See ball, go ball. I looked at him. I said, hey, coach, what do you mean? They said, see ball, go ball. We're going to line you up, tell you what side to go on. And after that, we want you to find the ball and hunt. Exactly what they told me. And I'm looking at them and saying, man, this is crazy. They said, we'll work with you on everything else. We'll work with you on the flopping and, strong sides and, we'll work with you on that, but we're going to line you up and we want you to see ball, go ball. And that's what I did for the first 3-4 games of the year. I had no idea. I just knew that when they called my name, I rushed. When they didn't call my name, I dropped. That's all I knew the first 2 months in the NFL. I didn't know nothing else, right?
Wow.
So I noticed this, that, I played for coaches, college and all that. We want you to do this. We want you to be in this gap. We want you to be here. But Wade said, we know you can pass rush and we'll work. And we know you like to get to the ball. We know you're going to run to the ball.
Yes.
Sideline to sideline. So we want you to line up and we'll call the play. So I learned a lot, man. That was, to me, coming into the league. We all get spoiled by certain coaches, right? Because we think that those coaches going to be, that was it. So I walked in with Marty Schottenheimer. I walked in with Wade, John Pagano, Greg Minuski. So I had some great coaches. And then I had some not so great coaches after that. And so you got spoiled because you had some great coaches over here that was always going to, tell you the right and wrong things to do.
Bro, listen, this is why I asked that question, right? And I'm going to let you get up out of there. But this is why I asked you that question, because it's always one guy, right? And last week I had Mike Singletary on. And honestly, he was that guy to me, because I asked him to do something for me. I said, it's one thing to become a better football player, but I want you to teach me how to become a better man, And every Monday after practice, bro, we would meet and forget game film. We was studying the Bible and going over things in the Bible. And I'm telling you, bro, it just changed my perspective, the way I saw things. Lorenzo Neal is not here, but why do you think you and Lorenzo Neal are so crazy? Do you have any idea? Do you know why we act like that when we see each other?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, your guess is better than mine. But whatever you're about to say, I'm sure it's true.
Does Lorenzo Neal not return your calls like you don't return my calls, or do you talk to him more than me?
No, I talk to him, but I gotta chase him down. I gotta.
Okay. I don't feel bad. Bad.
I gotta chase him down.
I don't feel bad. I think Lorenzo Neal should definitely be considered for one of the best fullbacks and should be put in the Hall of Fame. That's my vote.
When I got that part when I got there to camp late, I saw what Lorenzo Neal can do, right? So I got there, hot shot. I'm screaming, I'm yelling. I get into camp late. We got fans there in practice.
Yeah.
And so the first day of pass, when I walk out there, now I've seen all the media clips and Union Tribune to San Diego and all these. Oh yeah, who he think he is? He's sitting out. No, so I'm walking camp. I'm filming. I want to touch somebody as soon as I get there, immediately. Right, pads on, 3,000 people in practice. They put me 1-on-1 against Lowe.
Oh, daddy.
They put 1-on-1 drills against Lowe. So I lined up. And I'm still young, man. I just turned 21, so I know that's Lorenzo Neal, but I don't know that's Lorenzo Neal.
Absolutely.
We do the 1-on-1 drills, and Ray, I'm telling you, I tried to take – I sent him about 3-4 yards back, right? Flattened him. He on his back. Crowd, hyping up, and they're screaming and yelling. Everybody else in the running back line who's doing 1-on-1 drills, they sitting around like, ooh, and all this other stuff. And I'm hyped up. I'm beating my chest. I'm hyped up. You can't tell me nothing. Man, I go back in that line. Low Neal, push the dude out the way. Push the other running back out the way and told me to come on. I tried to do the same mess. But Ray, I ain't never been hit this hard before in my life. I felt the blood rush to my face and my teeth and my fingers, right? And for some reason, he hit me so hard that my hand just raised up on his own. my hand raised up. I lost control of my limbs. I lost control of my limbs. I went back and watched the film, and I said, why my hands go up like that? Man. Hey, Ray, after that, we shook hands and we had, like, the next day we came out, we brother-in-law, we brother-in-lawed it. I said, Lo, we never gonna make it to the game this way.
Not doing that.
Nope. That was it.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you. When Lorenzo and Sam Gash was probably two fullbacks that I hate playing against. Right? And because Lorenzo, neither one of them had a neck. They don't have a neck. They have a head and they have shoulders. Right? The neck is gone. And bro, I'm telling you, that man was so strong and used to get so low. Brother, listen, man, I love you to death, man. I am honored to have you on, man. And I'm really excited about hearing everything that you got going off the field, brother. And everything that you said today, bro, is just so profound, man, because, you know, Monte, my trainer who I'm about to bring on now, bro, it's just about this championship mentality that we're trying to really teach people, brother. And you are everything that a champion should be on and off the field. Continued success, young lion. We will connect really soon. Brother, I love you to death, man. And when we see each other, we're going to get real crazy.
I love you too, man. I appreciate all them calls before the games. I appreciate.
I don't tell people everything who I be talking to. Yeah, but I used to call this man every game, and I used to give him that talk. Lions hunt, baby.
And I can tell you just what it means. Hey, what you doing, man? I just got out of the meetings. Let me tell you something here, Shay. I'm gonna run through somebody's soul tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, all right, Ray. I'm getting off the phone. I can't do this.
But I got to say something else before you get off, because I want somebody to walk off the field and say, I don't want to play against him no more, Daddy.
Hey, I'm telling you, one time I had to go downstairs and I go to the trainer. I said, man, I need something to sleep. Give me some Ambien. Give me something. I just got off the phone with Ray because I ain't gonna be able to sleep before this game. I'm telling you right now, I ain't gonna tackle. I'm running through somebody's soul. I'm like, okay, Ray, I got to get off, man. Have a good night, man. Because look, I already know I can't sleep after that.
Oh, brother. Well, we had a good time. We had a good time and a heck of a ride.
I love you, brother. I appreciate you, man, for everything. Thank you.
I love you, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining me, baby.
Okay, you got it.
All right, brother. All right, be good. Oh, man, checking in. I tell you, when you got brotherhoods like that, life becomes all right. Checking in, first of all, to every birthday wish that was thrown out my way. Absolutely. Thank you. It was the most amazing week. Wow, you know, my mom, she always say this. She always says, make sure you give me my flowers while I'm living. And now I kind of know what she's talking about. It's like, it's really awesome to be appreciated by so many people. And it's not just appreciated, it's the people that you inspire to be better. And you show them and you lead them the way, and you show them the way. And it was just so good, man. Just being with family, being with everybody else. It was just amazing to be where I was and be surrounded around the people that I was surrounded around. It just gets no better, I'm telling you. But checking in, I got to get to my guy. We got to get on this championship mentality. Shawne Merriman just gave me so much ammunition going into the second half. I want to welcome the coach himself. Coach, what is going on? I know you coming from working. That's one thing about this team. We always working, Coach. I know you changed one life today. That's our mantra. That's why we live every day to change one life a day. But brother, how you doing? How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing very well, man, and happy birthday to you, man. 46 years old, and to all our people out there, I'm still challenging him to be in the best shape of his life at 50. So we got like a few more years of maintaining and doing what we do, but come 49, we gonna go hard for 1 year so he could bring in his 50th just like he was getting ready for training camp. So
yeah. Now we ain't gonna jump to the 50th so quick though. We ain't gonna jump to the 50th. We're gonna get to 47 and 48. You know, we're gonna take our time getting there. But I get you. I got you.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy the journey, man. But before we go into this principle this week, man, I think it was so important that you got away with family and you got away with rest. Everybody know you're lying. We grind. But also rest is a part of the program.
Yes.
And so when you on this championship mentality, I know we talked about balance day one, but remember, man, spend some time with your family and your loved ones and have your day of rest, man. Recharging and refocusing, it's a part of the program as well.
It is, brother. It is a part of the program. And another part of the program this week on championship mentality, we're talking about the shortcut. The shortcut. Ooh. And we ain't gonna be here long We're going to jump in and we're going to jump out. But it's one thing about the shortcut. A shortcut is the longest distance. Just think about this. A shortcut is the longest distance between 2 points. If I got to get somewhere in life, if we have to get somewhere in life, and that direction is straightforward, but somebody gives you a shorter route to go, the question you have to ask yourself, is this person trying to keep me from my blessing, or to make sure, watch this, or to make sure I don't give the effort to find my blessing? Wow. See, and that's that distance, T. That's why you remember this, we always talked about that shortcut. We always talked about the people that wasn't doing it. Let me tell you something. There are no shortcuts to knowledge. Knowledge is the key to reaching wisdom. You can't find wisdom without knowledge. But the shortcuts, you cannot shortcut it. That's why he says, meditate on my word day and night. Wow. Right? Because if you don't understand the process of what we go through as individuals, as people in life, this is to somebody out there right now, because maybe you've made fast money. Maybe you've found shortcuts through life. Let me tell you something. The journey may be cool long enough, but the destination will be disturbed. You take too many shortcuts. And that's why we took a philosophy in our training. Our philosophy was there are no shortcuts. What does that mean? Monte just said it. Coach just said it. Man, rest is everything. You work hard, you got the rest is equal. And I'm just not talking about sleep. I'm talking about rest in the mind. I'm talking about rest in your spirit. I'm talking about being prepared every day for this new thing that's coming. That's how we live.
Hey, man, we took it. Our mantra was, of course, no excuses, but also no shortcuts. Used to always say there are no shortcuts to greatness.
No shortcuts.
And when you're on this championship mentality, there comes a time where things may not be happening as fast as you want. Things may not be manifesting as quick as you thought it would be. Not only do we have to be patient, but you have to remember the longest road to success is a shortcut. Because when you take shortcuts, you violate laws, you violate natural laws. You can't put a seed in the ground the next day you have a harvest. A woman can't have a conception and then she have the baby the next day. Everything takes time. So this principle today that we're talking about, no shortcuts, and all of us grew up where you might be traveling somewhere and then you got to get to that road, and what do? Cut across that neighbor yard. I remember we used to go to this neighborhood in Savannah, Georgia called Cloverdale. Man, we wanted to get there so bad, we would cut through a graveyard. That's how good the shortcut was. Mm-hmm. But when we did that, what were we doing? We was trespassing. And the Bible talked about that. Forgive us for our trespasses.
Wow.
Forgive us for trying to get things too quick. Forgive us for trying to rush our lives and make things manifest without the process. Forgive us for, all of us have heard or seen about these get rich quick schemes and becoming successful overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing. So when you're on this journey, obey the laws, man. And remember, there are no shortcuts. None.
T, that's why you can never take a shortcut. It's the long route. The long route is what me and you used to always say. If I take the long route, that will give you valuable experiences. That experience that you get going the long route forever changes your perspective of the journey. And you've heard people say it before, right? Don't stress the destination. Just focus on the journey. You appreciate the journey when you go the long route. The things you have to go through, sometimes you got to go through surgeries. Sometimes you have to go through setbacks. Sometimes we all have to go through something. But the experience of you going through it is better than somebody dropping whatever amount of money in your hands and showing you life will be okay. Because anybody that's dropped with money but don't understand money won't keep it long. So you got to understand the process of what going the long route means, right? It's interesting because tomorrow morning I got my sons, right? I got my sons on this Zoom call in the morning, and my financial advisor is taking them through how to make money, how to keep money, how to make sure that you're doing the right things with your money, right? It ain't just spending it, it's how you spend it, right? It's just, where does money come from, right? How do you get into this game? Because you know this, all money ain't good money. But if you do it the right way, T, let me tell you something. Everybody that's listening, we done it the right way. Grandmama's out there, grandfather's out there. They was old school. They tell you the hardest way to earn $1 is the right way. That's what they used to tell you. That's why your grandma used to always say, boy, don't lie to me. You come home, you know you done took a shortcut through somebody's yard. You done messed up them people's hedges. You know you done did it. Right? And the first thing she say, boy, don't you lie to me. Right? But when you come back to the process, and I'm gonna wrap it up, Coach, but when you come back through the process, what's the one or two things, Coach, that I think me and you done, and I know you're gonna say both of them that I'm saying in my head, but what's the one or two things when it came to training and when it came to staying focused, kept us never taking shortcuts? What was those two things? I guarantee you I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Number one, we had talked about this a few weeks ago, but when you have a vision.
You got a vision. I promise you. When you got a vision.
Yeah. When you got a vision, man, it dictates your plan and it dictates your route that you're going on. It's your strategy. And so when you got a vision to be the best ever, one of the greatest ever, whatever aspect of life you're dealing with, then we always talk about that road is narrow, but there are no shortcuts on it. And I remember those that have read my book, man, I remember I used to gamble, like that quick fix stuff. And you know, me and you. The world is like a microwave society. We want stuff quick. Go ahead and invest in this right here. You'll be rich in a year. Yeah. You know, and nobody's telling us, man, like you said, you get those experiences along the way. But when it comes to working out, that's the focus that we had. And to answer your second question, when it comes to working out, hey, man, I'm coming to work out with y'all. I've been working out for months. I am ready to work out with you and Ray. And the first thing they come, and you taking your shirt off, and I'm looking at your abs. It's the one thing you can't cheat.
You can't cheat workout.
You cannot cheat workouts and expect results. You can take a pill if you need to lose weight, and you can lose it on the scale. But when it's time to go run a mile, if you ain't been running, you took a shortcut. And so it's like with training, we train for the fourth quarter.
Yes, sir.
So if we took a shortcut, man, after your warm-up pregame dance and after the first half, we tired. Yeah. But we didn't take no shortcuts, man. And for you and for our team, everybody that's on this journey, man, just remember, sometimes it's easy to take the shortcut. Easy. You know, and gambling encourages you to take the shortcut and the easy route. Man, do it the right way. Do it the long way. Because at the end of the day, not only is this you versus you, if you take the shortcut, you're cheating yourself.
Absolutely.
You can cheat a lot of people in the world, but the one person you can't cheat is yourself. So remember, when it comes to this working out, you can't cheat the grind and expect results.
The only thing that follows work is results. That's it. You can't cheat.
Imagine if you're taking shortcuts with work.
Imagine if you're taking those shortcuts.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're taking those shortcuts and then you get a tricep torn from the bone. How you make it back then? Because your body can't adapt. It ain't about how strong you are and how strong you look. I'm telling you this. The work you put in today will keep you living a happy life forever. That's facts.
You focused on your health and your wellness, and you like, okay, I'm going to the gym now. Remember, it's no shortcuts. How that nutrition look? How much rest you getting at night?
Yeah.
What area you need to improve on? Like, just don't take. Yeah, man. That's our principle for the day, man. On championship mentality. Yep. That there are no shortcuts to greatness, and wherever you're trying to go, there are no shortcuts. And remember, it's worth repeating. The longest road to success is a shortcut.
Coach,
do it the right way.
Bless you, my brother. Love you to death, man. Way to get it in coming from work, Coach.
Hey, man. Hey, we got
one life a day. One life a day. One life a day. That's it. Listen, it does not get any better, man. I mean, just to have conversations with him every day, just rounding up one heck of a week of birthday celebrations. And I'm telling you, 46 years old feels amazing. I'm going to tell Coach to hold off on 50. Let's hold off on the planning of 50 just yet. Let me get to 46 and a half, and then 46 and the third, and then I get to 47, okay? So I'll be looking for that. But the love I received is absolutely incredible. I read so many comments on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere, and it's just amazing, the people you touch that you don't even know you influence. So thank you all for that. But I tell you, the takeaways, man, the journey, appreciate the journey. The ups, the downs. You heard Shawne Merriman say it earlier, all the things that he went through, and he found a sanctuary on a football field. Well, maybe a football field is not your sanctuary. Maybe it can be something else. But everybody needs a getaway. Everybody needs an escape plan. But don't escape through a shortcut, because that's when you cheat the destination. The destination is delayed every time you turn the wrong way. Every time you go the wrong direction. Think about how many times that you was almost there and you thought you had it and somebody pulled you back from it. Take this week and I want you to write out 3 things. Write out 3 things that you know you took shortcuts on. Change it. And go do it again. God bless you. Thank you for coming to the show. Absolutely amazing. You know life, you know the mantra, no excuses. Change one life a day, and be the best you. God bless you all. Take care.